All right, we are live. How is everybody? There we go. All right, everybody, I'll give you a few minutes. Okay. And while you're doing that, all right. Put that aside. We have somebody in there. We do. All right. You're lucky. I almost didn't do a live because I'm exhausted. So I'm going to make a public service announcement. There will be lives. Might do one earlier than 1 p.m. What I noticed yesterday, Sir Chris, was that when we did that 11:15, we had about 25 people in here. So let me rest up. So what you and others don't realize is that following me around like that only irritates me when I'm behind. So please don't. Okay. I'll show up as fast as on time as I can, following me around, making posts. It's only going to irritate me on this end when I'm behind. Okay. I know exactly what time we're supposed to be live. I know exactly who's waiting for me. And the fact that we're having tech issues and it takes us time here and there, you have to understand we have to rearrange cords, signals, cats, etc. Okay. That being said, let's get started. So last night we lost my wallet. We don't know how. It's got all of our credit card information in it. It's got my license in it. And so we have no idea what happened. We think me getting one of my cards out somewhere and it was set down accidentally, not paying attention between myself or my daughters. And so now my wallet is out there somewhere in the Chicagoland area, just floating around for anyone to fuck with. So if you are out there and you found it, just know that everything's already been locked. And that being said, we're going to get started again. Probably going to change the lives to 11. And then the night one, I'm going to look at the analytics again and decide an earlier time, like you said. So, that being said, there was nobody that reached out at all on Facebook for a meetup yesterday. So, that's why there was no live, because if you found the morning live stream that I did, you'll notice it said, don't quote me on tonight being there alive. Okay. That was why I had a feeling that that was going to be a rocky start with this. You have to remember, a lot of people in this area aren't fond of who I am or who we are. All right. And so it might take a little time to get us a couple people here. It doesn't mean that we're not good investigators, Chris. It just means that we're louder than others because we're trying to correct some issues, and that is causing issues with others. So, good afternoon. It's nice to see you. I literally just got up about a half hour ago. So I look at it this way: if I sleep in like that, I need the rest. And yes, I had a live stream at 1, but there was a half a second where I almost said, I'm too tired. So that's something every podcaster wants their audience to know, that as much as we want to get up here when we're supposed to, y'all have to remember that, especially if we're a startup, all right, this is still a journey. Right? So until our audience blooms and grows and all this little, okay, that's not how that works. Professionalism does not need that much announcement, is what I'm trying to get through to you, brother. That's what's wrong with the whole community. Look around over there on social media. That's what's going on. Everybody has to drop their thing every day in how many different places. Okay? You yourself over there, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30 groups. When does it stop? When do you stop sharing? When do you stop tagging? Okay. Let them keep doing that over there. You especially, I'm trying to get you to understand is those individuals, let them do it that way. Okay. But if you notice that by doing that, there's a lot of horn locking. You see that? A lot of horn locking when you do it that way. We don't need that horn locking anymore. Let them do that over there. Okay. This channel is because of social media's behaviors. Strictly. Okay. Trying to educate other people on how to do it differently because everyone's doing it on social media. Everybody. It's the fear mongering narratives, it's the multi-million posting, sharing, tagging. And then what does it do? It causes people to get irritated. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. This is why we do it quietly. We don't need to run around social media like a chicken. Just because everyone else is doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. Okay. So, that being said, my friend, let's get started. So, welcome to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC, 1 p.m., high intensity live stream. All right. And I am Tobias Josephson. And here at Paranormal Witchcraft, obviously, we approach paranormal differently. We have two of you in the room. Oh, just me and you. That's weird. Yeah, 9 platforms. What I'm talking about is these live streams are set up for the times. I'm not going to be sharing them all over social media. We're killing our efforts over there by doing that. Okay. Look at the environment closer. Look at all the arguing they have going on over there between them. That's why I stopped tagging. That's why I stopped doing multiple groups. All right. One, some of the groups, even on our own team, are not returning the favor. Okay. People like Stephen Blevins. All right. Internet problems like myself or not, if you can't share paranormal witchcraft, then we can't share you. That's how that works. We're no longer freely promoting other groups. Okay. Because you're taking away your effort from doing our thing if we're sharing other teammates' groups and they're not in this dynamic with us, Chris. Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. That's why I rarely go over there to their groups. If you can't help me, how can I help you? Okay. That's not helping me. If you're part of a team and you're not being part of a team, doesn't help me at all. Doesn't help you, doesn't help me, and it doesn't make us change the way we look. We're trying to change the way we look on social media because everybody looks like that on social media. Does that make sense, my friends? So we approach the paranormal differently. Okay. So the demon investigation trap, all right. Most investigations fail because of the processes, the same pattern, etc., etc., etc. And what we're trying to do is to get people to look at it from a different angle, try to investigate it from a different approach, all right, and not just, oh my God, I'm going to be running around the house with a camera or a GoPro strapped to me, and there's Lucifer, somebody behind me, and I'm going to make sure everybody on camera knows how scary and creepy, but yet fun paranormal investigation is. We got demons chasing us, but don't worry, we're going to keep you safe. That's the narrative that's everywhere. Everything's being labeled demonic or being labeled as a mimic or the escalation. The escalation seems to be everyone thinks that becoming a paranormal investigator means you have to scare the living shit out of everybody or you're not doing it right. And I disagree. Okay. So most demon cases fail before the investigation even begins. Explain that many investigators walk into a location already expecting something to happen, something dark, something demonic. That is probably true because if you look at the way they advertise themselves, right, Chris, it's always gloom and doom. Every place they've gone to is worse than the last time they were there. No specificity on why you've come back to Waverly Hills, if it scared the living shit out of you, and you haven't been back in 6 months, and yet here you are again in 6 months, and your thumbnail is but you're going back. Okay. You have to let the audience know what you're going to investigate differently this time. What it was last time that scared the living F of you, not just a spirit. You have to give it a tangible name. You have to give the audience a name, or they're not going to know what's going on. The thumbnail narrative isn't working anymore because it's just so vague. Because every time something's labeled dark or demonic, okay, what happens? It gets clicks because people are like, what's going on? All right. But why does everything have to be dark or demonic or a mimic or definitely a spirit when you've just turned your lights and your cameras on and immediately you hear something in a whisper and you go, can you show yourself? Are you evil? You're immediately just, all right. And so now most people think that's how you investigate. You just go in and you attack. You're the paranormal snipers. Is that the truth? I don't know. Okay. Every danger, every sound, every shadow, every equipment spike, every environmental factor that shifts is supposed to be evidence, supposed to be data, but it has to be investigated. You can't just write it down and then go, it's a spirit. I've been here 20 times. I know it's a spirit. Which spirit? Who? Where? When? Why? What makes it demonic? The audience doesn't know what spirit is causing that reaction in the thumbnail, is what we're trying to say. Nobody has a clue. We just see your face constantly. Isn't it about time people start knowing why a place is repeatedly haunted? And if it is proven demonic, isn't it your team's responsibility to find out if that's fact or fiction? Right? I would think so. Not everything has to be hostile, is the point. And we think there's just an air of people coming up over in social media and then coming over here on YouTube and they see those thumbnails. And we think perhaps the ignorance is what's going on. Again, we're not here to really challenge anybody to a verbal duel that way. Okay. We're not here to debate with you. We're not here really to challenge your beliefs. That's how you hunt. That's great. Okay. But for us, it's about containment over chaos. All right. Which means not everything, even if it is demonic, is going to be labeled demonic until we know so, is kind of what we're getting at. Everybody's guessing that it's going to be demonic because they've experienced stuff there before. All right. And we've noticed over the past few years, everything's gone from just simple spirits to getting darker and darker and darker and darker and darker because the industry has nowhere left to go. Right. The bells and whistles have run out. Okay. That's probably more of the truth. Remember, as an investigator, you're going to mirror your maturity level to the rest of the world. That's a very important word. Let's use that again. When you create a thumbnail or something for your video, or you create a title, will it uphold to public scrutiny? That's the whole point of asking these hard questions. You've got to ask the hard questions to, along with the easy ones. Everyone can ask the easy ones, but nobody seems to be willing to ask the hard ones. So welcome to Paranormal Witchcraft. We believe you have to ask the hard ones. You have to sit down together. You have to talk about it. Our approach focuses on structure. Our approach focuses on containment. Our approach focuses on not escalating our emotions. Notice how these words turn up every live stream. Escalation, chaos. And then we turn around with containment and structure, right? Which gives us what? Discipline. Shows people we're responsible. We're not here just fucking right off. Okay. Ghost hunting isn't like an overnight rage. All right. It's not like that. And the community is more like a mosh pit. if anything else now, because you can't seem to tell the difference between one team from another, because everything is demonic, or everything is dark, or everything has a repeatable history right off the bat before they've even shown you guys why. Okay? So, here's a direct question for you. How many of you have watched a personal paranormal show yourselves where they decided it was demonic within the first 10 minutes? So answer yes in the comments or no in the comments. I think we all know a few personalities. Chris, if you want to put them in the comments, you can, but I don't feel we need to. I think this subject brings up enough of that hostility with people who's not going to agree with us that they'll just name them for us in the comments. All right. And so the paranormal team you form is only as good as they are. Okay. And so what you're looking at over there on social media, Chris, is I picked a handful of people, 13, including myself. Okay. And I made a lot of wrong personal choices. That's why we've had so many struggles. Okay. There was too many personalities, too many ego bashings, too many differences of personality, and all that is infighting. Okay. Why do you think I'm driving us in a different direction? Because most people are comfortable on social media in the team. And so the group has a presence there now for those who just can't hold up to the scrutiny of doing something different. And that's okay. Okay. They're comfortable in social media. They may want to do something eventually. They know that in the chat. Okay. They're still part of the team. All right. They got over 4 years to pull stuff together if they really want to be part of this team. They have 4.5 years to figure out their life shit. All right. And get themselves to a place where they can join us on investigations and whatnot. And I will not lose faith on any of those members if they truly have that desire. Now, if they don't at the end of 5 years, well, then we sit down with them and then we have a conversation. But they still have 4.5 years to go. Okay. I'm going to work my ass off until then. All right. And we'll see what happens. All right. And hopefully our team grows over the next 5 years. But right now, we've got a good 5 of us, and that's plenty. Okay. Notice how I only use examples for our team because, again, like I was saying in the beginning, look at social media. Everybody's dumping their post in any number of groups or any number of platforms. All right. And what's happening is those platforms members are not telling you, Chris, and others that are running around tagging like Steve does and other people do, is that you're being labeled as unwelcome. See, that's something social media members around you won't tell you because they don't have to. They just send in the tag things that they disregard, and there's a tab over there where you can label it or report it. And when you do that, it shows up as unwelcome. And when that happens, every group you go to now with your name has your tag that you are unwelcome because you don't stop poking people in the eyeball with the posts. All right. And see, most of the para community hasn't figured that out. Okay. That's why there's so many arguments over there. Okay. Because they're all doing the same thing. And then it bothers everyone around them. And then what happens? I get restricted. You get restricted. Other people get restricted. Other paraprofessionals have had their profiles shut down over there. Oh, yeah. Recently, Chris, recently. So I'm really trying to get you to understand that tagging less is the way to go. Okay. Sharing the group less is the way to go. We're trying to attract. I know everyone out there wants to promote, get on stage and look at paranormal, which I get it. But right now is not the time. All right. Look at the world around us. There's too much fires going on. People don't have the right mentality to understand what we're trying to do over there. Okay. And if you look at that environment, remember, it's a bunch of zealots over there. It's like a zombie clique, okay? And they don't let anyone else in if they don't like you, okay? So watch yourself over there, okay? Why do you think I don't go do so many groups anymore, okay? Because I figured it out. And I'm trying desperately to get people like you and others to understand that you can keep saying it's Facebook all you want. But every time you type a person you know, that you're trying to share it with, that is what you're doing wrong. Okay? Because those people may or may not like it, and they may or may not tell you. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Not everybody over there likes that. They may tell you they do, but secretly they don't. Okay? There's a lot of people who are just fake right now, my friend, and they just don't know it. Okay? So, as viewers, a direct question: how many of you have watched a paranormal show, and we all know many, where they decided it was demonic within the first 10 minutes? It does happen. So investigate if you want real answers. Type drama in the comments if you want to be like everybody else. Type investigate if you want real answers, real investigation, real evidence, or type drama in the comments if you'd rather just keep hunting using near chaos protocols. That's up to you. The pattern nobody talks about. Discuss how investigations often escalate emotionally rather than methodically. I think we have for the past 25 minutes. That's pretty close. 20 minutes. That's kind of where my passion and my irritation was coming through a few minutes ago. And that's not at you, Chris. It's just I see people like you and others on social media doing that all day long. And I don't think anyone's pulled you aside to tell you that's what's going wrong over there. Okay. You're going to get yourself into a lot of drama over there because they just don't know the difference. They just might not be mature enough. We have to leave them there, and you have to pivot the way you do things. I know it's enticing because everyone's using the graphics and everyone wants to use those graphics every day in every post. But remember, you're slowing down the platform when you do that. The platform is not ready for everyone to be spitting graphics in their post, every single post. You are wasting energy for the rest of the world, literally, because you can't stay off ChatGPT graphic. That's what you're doing. You are using water every time you ask a question, every time you create a graphic. You're supposed to be using open source AI for this: learning, growing your brain, using what you already know, and expanding that knowledge. Not the happy-go-lucky cartoon AIs everyone's pushing all over social media. That's part of it, yeah. If you're going to do serious video editing, and we think a lot of people on social media just, they're infatuated with the AI generation, all right? But that doesn't mean they're really learning anything. Just because they can create a meme that tells them what embolic is, does that mean they know what it is? Could they hold up in conversation if I asked them what's embolic? They'd be like, wait, hold on, where's that meme? That's why we don't like memes in the Brotherhood, because we want you to go, oh yeah, this is what it means. That's great if you can make the meme, but we want you to know here first before you make something. We're trying to do the same thing here with paranormal investigation, because it just seems like everybody runs towards the Baggins route, right? Because they think, or they truly just want that kind of investigation. Don't we all? Investigations often escalate emotionally rather than methodically. Methodical is boring. It doesn't get ratings. It doesn't get subscriptions. It's not clickbait. I get it. Okay. But maybe your personality should be a better personality then. Maybe it's your personality on social media that people aren't subscribing to. Maybe it's your personality on social media that people really don't like. And instead of sharing 20,000 times a day, change something about your personality. Maybe that's the problem with social media. Just a question. Okay. I personally think most investigators get into investigation purely for the escalation curve. Because, like I said, I truly believe most people are just looking to get rich quick when it comes to paranormal investigation. They have no desire on finding real evidence, they have no desire on investigating purely. It's all about the narrative. It's not about the investigation anymore. Now, paranormal investigation has started to become about the narrative. When did that change? Nobody seems to be able to answer that question with any form of certainty. Okay. Narrative escalation seems to be the name of the game if you want to be a serious paranormal investigator these days. Okay. But I would disagree. Once somebody says something dark or something like the word demon, everyone immediately pays attention. They immediately forget what they were doing. They immediately have a sense of, oh shit, right? What does that do? That's purposely said to spike your adrenaline. And when it does that, your sense of fear and protection kicks in subconsciously. Everyone starts getting excited or frightened or confrontational. I know you're there. Where are you? They might be afraid, but I'm not. Everyone starts just hamming it up. All of a sudden, a room full of people are going to take on a demon. Wow. Okay. The entire investigation, when you do that, becomes framed around proving that theory. And yet, no one ever seems to fully prove that theory. Okay? Confirmation bias is something that works very well in paranormal investigation. A door creaks, becomes interpreted as a threatened response, and immediately the entire room believes you. Okay? What if it was an environmental shift that caused the door to creak, though? Just a question. Structured investigation requires discipline, requires you all to slow down rather than escalating the narrative right off the bat. Here's a dark case classification framework. It's a structured framework for evaluating darker cases instead of jumping to conclusions. We were talking about this a little bit the other night. Level 0, environmental. It means you stopped, you paused, you restabilized, checked environmental, and you did discover the wind blew the door, and it wasn't a demon moving the door. If you did that and you still can't explain the door moving, then you might be level 1. It's a neutral, unexplained activity. All right, now you got something. Okay. But you're using a structure to investigate why something happened instead of going, that's a spirit. Did you hear that? That's great to do that, but most people will start immediately labeling it instead of pausing. Now you'll see some. Now it's not all. There are a lot of good ones out there too as well. Just mostly people are into the escalated investigation. All right. So you move into level 1. It could be something that was neutrally explained, random sounds, equipment responses, etc. Level 2, if it's dark or demonic. Something that interacts a little more. Notice it says interactive patterns. Patterns, patterns, patterns. Repeatable, repeatable, repeatable. See these words showing up? They're doing so for a reason. And it's interactive patterns where responses occur after questioning. Okay? So it's answering intelligently. Level 3 would obviously be a hostile environment. Something obviously very clearly not afraid of you. and very clearly going to challenge you by manipulating something around you. Objects moving around, repeated disturbances start happening. Maybe the door moving was just the beginning. Okay. Maybe you do have something demonic. Level 4, rare extreme cases where demonic may truly actually exist as far as evidence are the rare extreme cases which require careful containment and professional discipline. In other words, you're hovering around real poltergeist and demonic possessive or demonic attack environment here. So you don't want to be a level 4. Everybody wants to be level 4 content, but trust me, you really don't want to be caught in a real life level 4 extreme rare demonic entity coming after your ass, because you will need professional help. You will need professional discipline to get your asses out of there, or it will do some things to you and your team and the individuals around you that you will be helpless to stop. Okay. So for everybody out there running towards level 4, why don't we all slow down and just work on getting to level 0 first? That's what Paranormal Witchcraft LLC is trying to adopt here. Containment over chaos. Gather evidence over the egos. Okay. We approach the paranormal differently. Most cases investigated by myself, Chris, other teams out there fall realistically in the level 0, level 1. Okay? What level do you think most so-called dark, so-called poltergeist, so-called demonic cases actually fall into demonic? Answer your answer down below. Very few, correct. Level 5. Well, level 5 is you probably are surrounded by some religious clergy and some other people, Chris, is what I'm hinting to. Okay. I think level 4 is enough. I'm not going to explain level 5. If you want to know about level 5, you can go check out a whole bunch of movies made about what happens if you can't fix level 4 and you're stuck at level 5. That's an entirely different podcast, but I'll touch on it. Possession. All right. Infestation. The parts of demonic possession people don't really talk about enough. The psychological, the physiological effects. And it goes beyond level 4. It's pretty much a life or death situation if you hit level 5. Okay? You've done fucked up. All right. And we don't know if we're going to be able to save your life at that point. But level 5 is exorcism. All right. And the problem with exorcism is it still doesn't always work. Okay. This is why we get up here and say, don't fuck around and find out. I'm going to say it again. Don't fuck around and find out. I'm going to say it even slower, and I'm going to lean in for a hook line. Don't fuck around and find out. All right. I live with one. And if you think it's like Hollywood to have Asmodeus, no, it's not. Okay. I know everyone out there wants to think that life is all bells and whistles and fairies and pixie dust, but it's really not. If you're hunting with Hollywood in your eyes, you're going to find yourself getting in trouble. You're going to find yourself doing something wrong, and you're going to find yourself calling people like us, Paranormal Witchcraft LLC, requesting a spiritual attack services. In other words, you think you have spirits. You'll notice I put a thumbnail up and it says got spirits. That's what it means. Instead of saying spiritual attack cases, did you fuck up? Did you? There seems to be a lot of people out there in the world that have. All right. And so that's pretty much what it means. You get to level 5, you're kind of fucked. All right. And we will be praying for your soul along with you at that point, because you shouldn't have got to where you're at, man. People make a professional career after going after these things, but what they don't talk about on the underbelly is shit like this, is what happens. If you look at the true documented cases of exorcisms, you notice how wildly different they are from what they'll show you on TV. There's a reason for that, because they know it scares the living shit out of people. That's what people need to be educated on again, is that those things will kill you. Stop chasing everything and labeling it as demonic. Please. Level 5, all right. Well, then you're lucky to be alive. All right. Very much so, my friend. So why escalation attracts attention? I don't even have to look down. One, it's clickbait. All right. It's the XXX of paranormal. All right. Every title, you just XXX. All right. And everybody clicks on it. Demonic, 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 haunted. All right. That's why. But I'll read what I have written down as well. It's immaturity, because you got to get rich now. Got to get rich now. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. We'll have thousands of people following us around. It'll be great. That's why most are doing it. I'm not. We're not. Maybe some of you are out there. Remember, I and Paranormal Witchcraft is not here to attack your beliefs or your objectives. All right. We may disagree respectfully. Okay. But we're not here to debate with you. The attention loop in paranormal environments is repeated questioning, getting repeated patterns to happen, because then you're going after validated evidence. And then hopefully at the end of the day, you can call it a level 5 instead of claiming it's a level 5. Repeated questioning, 1, it also helps create a psychological loop, and it helps getting that psychological feedback during investigation. So that's always good when you do that. But using it from a place of escalation to immediately, I know you're here, and then you end up at a level 5, what did you expect to happen? But Hollywood's not telling you the full truth. It's your responsibility to know what really happens. Just because Tarot the movie looks interesting, what are you really going to do if that happens, guys? You sit around in a circle and you play seance. What are you expecting to happen? You're actually going for level 5 without actually thinking of what's going to happen to you. Because why? The fear excites you. But the problem with that fear is the fear will kill you if you're not prepared. Sorry to ruin Hollywood's big Easter egg, but okay, that's the only way they can sell things to people. All right, they have to appeal to your sense of curiosity and fear and gore and creep. And flirting with death seems to be something that humans just can't stay away from. Repeated questioning creates, 1, that psychological loop for you and the entity, but 2, it's giving you a repeated pattern that everyone around you can see, and you're not faking it. And you didn't have to get out of your chair or run for your life, all right? Because you sat down, you stayed calm, you controlled the narrative, and if it's there, remember, it feels no need to prove itself to you. And that's why it beat the living shit out of you, and you're lucky to be alive, okay? I'm lucky to be alive, yes. Group dynamics always amplify the interpretation, especially when with everybody's just doing it, because paranormal investigation is about road trips and partying and being up all night. And did you ever stop to investigate one damn thing before you went to Penhurst or wherever you're going? Right? Are you just going because everybody in the world and every TV show you've seen on it has says it's haunted? So immediately, as an amateur investigator, you're just all bells and whistles, and now investigating is fairy world. When? How? Who? Huh? Okay. That makes sense? Good morning! I lost your subject. It can be if they don't know what they're doing, yes. My friend Southern has brought up a good point. That's what I'm trying to get Sir Chris to understand. That's great you survived a demon attack, bro. All right. You should understand how lucky you are. I know how lucky I am at 4 years old looking at his eyes. Before I truly believe it was an omen. He was like, "You're mine. I found you early this time in your life. You're only 4. Right. And here we are. I'm going to be 50. Right. And he is as proud as can be on my shoulder. Right. Because I'm his, Chris. Do you understand that? I had to learn how to work with him because until I learned how to work with him, I was his bitch. All right. That's what you and others, I really want you to understand. That's great that you survived an attack, but don't use it as a notch on your belt. Use it as a tool because these things kill people. These things do not care if we live or die. All right. So to be a human out there going, I'm not afraid of you, you should really be afraid of these things. It's the whole reason I created this group to begin with, the Brotherhood of Male Witches, is because once I realized that I was like everybody else out there and I fucked up because I had to find out, I created a group after doing a couple years research before I started the group. So I was still a very new witch. But that's why I had to find a solution because I fucked up. Does that ring true yet for anyone out there who wants to be a paranormal investigator or a magician? Sorry, a practitioner. Am I getting through to you yet? Because I don't think we are. You guys play with the demons like it's a game. And unless you know what you're doing, it's not a game. All right? There's about 1% of human beings who can deal with these things, and they're not most of you. When one person reacts strongly, everybody starts reacting strongly. Look around, look closer at the teams that are putting those titles on every single episode. That was your mission yesterday, Chris, was to start digging, start watching podcasters around us. Are they doing it that way on purpose? Or are they doing it like we are to show that, yes, it is demonic, but we're proving the repeated evidence in front of you on camera instead of just labeling everything as demonic? Does that make sense yet? Everything is demonic right now in the world. Everything. Everything's demonic. Everything's summoning. Everything's a seance. Everything. Why? There's nobody on the internet asking these individuals why their titles every single time. Every single time. Every place they go to. I'll leave that there. Now, if you want to follow those people on TV and you want to follow those personalities like that, feel free. I'll admit some of their episodes are pretty entertaining, okay? But that's all they are, is entertaining. Because they're using nothing but provocation techniques. Look closer. Look at their body language. Look at the way they talk. Are they naming shit before they've done anything in their episodes? Do they immediately call it out when they get there? I think you'll find more times you're going to find an answer over the next week that is a resounding yes and another sad and resounding yes, because it's just easier to purport. Because when you purport, it's clickbait. Do you want credible investigations or do you want chaotic ones? Do you want the escalated narratives because it sells, or do you want to have credible investigation protocols? We're not asking anyone to choose. We're not here to beg anyone to join our team. We have a team. We're just trying to do our thing up here and ask some hard questions. Challenge the paradigm. Why? Group dynamics amplify interpretation every single fucking time. We're human beings. It's what we do. That's why there's a think tank mentality on the internet, because nobody has the guts to make up their own mind. Very few online. And what you're seeing is a majority of people following a handful of individuals they look up to. That's all the internet really is, in ebbs and in flows. Certain people, certain names, certain places, certain things, in ebbs, in flows. And you have to really, really, really pay attention to people online. And nobody's thought about that. We shifted to going online where you don't want to meet people face to face. And now people think they can throw bullshit at you and you're just going to eat it up as truth. That's the kind of person you are. So be it. Okay. Remember, we're not here to judge anybody. We're not here to attack anyone else's framework. We may disagree with it, but we're simply asking questions. Why is everything demonic? Why? Why is every single case demonic? And why is that the only thing that gets people's attention right now? Fear. People love to be afraid. All right. Anything that scares the shit out of you will sell. Anything that creates a feeling within you will sell. That's at the heart of your paranormal investigation. That should be at the heart of your paranormal investigation team. Not the fact that you're going to a place that has proven to be demonic. Stop. Stop right there and pause. What happened to coming there grounded? You're now using people, places, and things as propaganda. And the rest of the world hasn't figured it out yet. Provocation techniques increase emotional intensity and will promote chaos every single time. Indeedy. Every time there's a heightened emotional state, it distorts perception, it distorts decision making. Think about it. You just get in an accident. What the fuck just happened, right? You're not thinking straight. You're freaked out. Do you see the link? Yeah. When you can't control yourself, you will experience paranormal activity, whether you want to or not, is what we're saying. You have to control yourself, or you bet your ass one of these demons will follow you home. That's why they don't need to challenge you. That's why you shouldn't be challenging them. Acting a fool. It's immature investigating. Investigators purposely asking aggressive questions repeatedly. That's the name of the game if you look around the internet. And I'm just going to leave that as is. It's repeatedly, and it's always interpreting random responses as confirmation. All right. And some of them are even looking to the UFO culture because they just don't know what else to do for clicks. Sorry, but you're going to have to start calling yourself UFOlogists if you keep doing it. Leave the paranormal investigation world if you're breaking into that. because you're going to have to call yourself a ufologist too. Are a lot of paranormal investigators willing to do that? There might be some friction there. I have no problem saying I investigate whatever the fuck I want. That's what you should be saying. But everyone seems to think they have to have a label. That's why I rarely say I'm a ufologist. I don't really like using the term paranormal investigator, but we have to. I investigate and I research knowledge on what gives me joy, what gives me passion, and what gets me out of bed every day. And if people want to call me a paranormal investigator, awesome. All right. I just use it because the whole world uses it. And because of what I do and what other teams do, I guess that's the label we use. But I don't like using labels. I'd rather use my name. I'm Tobias Josephson. All right. I'm not a big fan of labels, but the world runs on names and labels. Just the way it is. Disciplined investigation requires discipline. Containment over chaos as we walk out the door here. Introduce the principle containment first, evidence second. Containment first, evidence second. Stabilize the investigation. Stabilize the investigation team before and after beginning an investigation session. Reduce provocation. Reduce escalated behaviors that escalate tension. Document environmental factors, temperature, sound, building conditions, sources. Use fewer devices rather than more to help you reduce noise and confusion, one. But two, you don't need every single bell and whistle out. You ever notice if you look at some of the teams, everything they have is out. Everything. Is that necessarily the way it should be? When did it go from less is more to more is less? You guys tell us. How many people out there do you see them establishing clear openings and clear closing procedures for their investigation sessions? Type yes if you've seen it in the comments below. Type no in the comments below if you've seen that. I'll lean in and get some comments. There you go. How are you, dear? I think I have a little mimic in here, but I don't think it's going to hurt me. But that was really cool the other night with the Epoch box, where I was sitting here and it was getting our attention behind us, whether I wanted it to or not. That was good stuff. You're okay? Good deal. I'm glad. I'll be reaching out shortly. So maybe try using fewer. Just a suggestion. Remember, this framework isn't for you. That's okay. We're not here to challenge your beliefs or your opinions. All right. We will just agree to disagree. All right. That's what we do here. We don't use contempt. We don't use judgy behavior. Thank you, my love. There is my wife in the mirror. Explain to others that containment protocols at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC will help other investigators prevent from creating the conditions they think they're studying. Ooh, that's a rough one. Sorry, y'all. Again, someone's got to be willing to ask these hard questions, man. I don't see anyone out there doing it. All I see is pods of click paranormal teams, and they're in the hundreds, and they don't let anyone else in because you're bothering their and they're friends with Baggins and others, okay? And so those are the investigators you don't need to be going anywhere near. I don't want to be, looking like we're attacking someone in this podcast. I'm just going to tell you guys, be responsible for who you follow in the paranormal field. It is your responsibility right now on this planet to start growing immaturity and to start making better choices on who you're following in the paranormal field. And that's the only way I can put it safely, okay? There's a lot of people who will take your money, they'll take your time, they'll even use your knowledge in the paranormal field and probably perhaps promise you a spot. And then a year later, you're going to be looking around like we were going, what the fuck happened? All right. Be careful who you trust out there. All right. Let's get the fuck out of here because I'm hungry and I'm tired and I need to recuperate. And we're pushing an hour. I only wanted 45 minutes. Most demon investigations fail because investigators escalate instead of observing. Now, I know I have a lot of enemies out there personally because I'm a witch, because I'm a psychic, and because of that, I do paranormal investigation, and now I run a business that really rubs people the wrong way in the public sector. Okay? Don't let them fool you on social media. There's a reason why I'm not on social media anymore. That is why. Okay? Because I don't have time for that bullshit anymore. I have a fucking business to run. I have a business that's catching traction. I have 2 business partners. I'm working on 3 and 4. All right. And so all that noise means nothing to me as a professional. Nothing. All right. And it shouldn't bother any of you as well. Okay. Most demon investigators, most demon investigations fail because all of those investigators are full of shit. They're not observing. Structured investigation requires patience, requires discipline, requires practice. And why do you think no one's doing it? Makes perfect sense now. Now I can hear people's light bulbs going, oh. Why do you think it's so easy to get into if you're doing that? Because nobody's going to challenge that. I invite every viewer who sees this to come back tonight at 9 p.m., not 11. So, my love, who I shall not name, and Chris, 9 p.m. tonight, we will start doing the later ones. All right, it's dark. All right, I'll even make it 8 if 8 sounds better. 8 or 9 tonight, not 10. All right, I'm going to try to catch a little wider net of an audience. Now, remember, I'm not here to be a million-man march. Paranormal Witchcraft is not here to be the most famous paranormal investigation team in the world. We really don't care if we get attention or not. Sorry, y'all. We're not here for the money yet. We're not here for the legacy yet. All right. But we're also here to highlight one difference. It's great that everyone can be making more money. It's great that some people out there have more prestige. It's great that some people have more followers out there right now. That is wonderful. Okay. But here's the difference. We're looking for quality over the quantity here at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. So if that sounds like you, then I would like to talk to you personally. All right. If you want to grow slowly over a 5-year feasible, logical plan that has nothing to do with my ego or my emotions. Okay. So if you like that approach to paranormal, then you might want to talk to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. But if not, it's all good. All right. You want to be a hater? Welcome to the club. All right. Keeps up, I might start another paranormal channel just for the haters. And give them a place to go to and sharpen their pitchforks and throw them at me and the team and leave them there. I invite you guys to return for the evening live stream where escalation patterns will continue to be demonstrated and analyzed tonight. And one final question before I let you guys go. Are you investigating the unknown? Or are you just performing for the camera? I am Tobias Josephson. This is Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Containment over chaos, evidence over egos, and we approach the paranormal differently. Have yourselves a great afternoon. I'll see you at 8 p.m.